नमस्कार, ग्रीटिंग्स फ्रॉम डॉक्टर रीना पाठक। आज मैंने सोचा कि मैं इंग्लिश पढ़ाती हूँ एंड आई हैव almost 33 years of experience of teaching English and being principal of different schools at present at St. Jamar Jaipuria School, Goel campus. So even students who are watching my videos, they said, "Ma'am, you give us a lot of motivation through your videos, but we would like to see some English being taught." And in fact, I was just witnessing some classes where poetry was being taught in the middle school, and even when we sit for the interviews, there's a lot of things that we discuss with the interviewee, and I noticed that the basic thing that is required for poetry is the literary device or the figures of speech which need to be used while we are explaining any particular poem to our students. So this video is basically for English teachers and students who wish to know more about figures of speech. So I'll start from the basics first. So figures of speech or literary devices एक तरह के अलंकार होते हैं. They are the ornaments which need to be added to your writing so that you have a flair, you could give emphasis, you could bring some rhythm somewhere, or maybe you want to stress on particular issues. So first and foremost that we talk about the figures of speech is for comparisons. So comparisons, we have three figures of speech. One is a simile, the other is a metaphor, and the third one is personification. So simile, metaphor and personification. Simile is basically when we compare and we use the words as and like. Like she's sweet as the rose, he runs as fast as the cheetah. A metaphor is, we say, it's an implied simile, means there is comparison, but it is only hinted. The word as or like will not be used. Like in our days, we had a very common metaphor which was taught to us through Wren and Martin and Naisfield, which were the grammar books of solid control for grammar. So there the example was always Jawaharlal Nehru is the pillar of India. Means he's like the pillar, but the word like has never been used. But the comparison is hinted. Personification means where you are giving inanimate objects some lifelike qualities. Like you are saying that the sun smiled at the little child's innocence. So you have given the sun a quality of smiling, which is a living quality. So these three are important figures of speech where we do any contrast or any comparison. Now we come to the figures of speech which we sort of denote towards the sound. So sound, we have alliteration, assonance. So first let me explain alliteration and assonance. Alliteration is when the consonant sound in the 26 letters, you know there are consonants and there are vowels. When the consonant sound is continuously repeated, we say it is alliteration. Like Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter was so bitter. So Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. So these are all B sounds being repeated. In assonance, we usually use the sound of vowels which will come in continuity. It can even come between the sentence. That is the most preferable example is from My Fair Lady, where Audrey Hepburn says, the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. She means the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. So the A-I-N sound is being repeated. That is the A vowel sound, the A-I sound is being repeated. Then it is assonance. We also have another figure of speech which is onomatopoeia for sound, but that's usually when the sound impact is there, like the bang of the door, the clot clot of the horse, the thud of the thunder. So those sounds, when they are there, then we say it is onomatopoeia. Now we come to a pun. Pun is a double meaning. Pun means when a double meaning is implied, then we say it is a pun. The best example for a pun will be the life of the person depends on his liver. Now the liver has double meaning, means the person who is living the life, as well as the liver, which is the most important organ of your body, which actually holds your body's digestive system. So a person, like usually refer to people who are indulging in too much of alcohol, they destroy their liver, or nowadays we are having fatty liver problems. So it all depends on the liver. The liver is the person as well as the organ. Now the other figure of speech which is commonly not understood, which we do as a common mistake, like we have run and we have come to the room and we ask, give me a cold glass of water. But actually we are speaking grammatically wrong. It's a glass of cold water. But we have not done it intentionally because we were so thirsty, we emphasized on the cold water. So the cold glass came automatically. So same is, I spent my night on the sleepless pillow, or the plowman plods his weary way homewards. So it's not, the way can't be weary, the pillow can't be sleepless, but we have shifted. This is called transferred epithet or hyperlage. Transferred epithet or hyperlage. So epithet in Greek means adjective. So when we shift the adjective to where it belongs to another place just because we want to emphasize, then it is transferred epithet or hyperlage. Actually this should be A. Okay, so this is to be understood, and this has to be used in your writing, because it is then only that the flair, the ornamentation can come on your writing skills. Now we have some other figures of speech, literary devices like imagery, which is a picturesque description that you gave. You use symbols. We use many other literary devices like irony and other things, which I would be mentioning to you in my next video. The most important one combination which is also left is oxymoron and antithesis. Oxymoron, the funniest example is happily married, means when we put opposite words juxtaposed, means side by side. Like regularly, he is regularly irregular to school. Or we talk about two opposite words side by side. When it is two opposite ideas side by side, then it is antithesis. Like united we stand, divided we fall. So that is oxymoron and antithesis. Yes, so when we get these in our control and we start using them in our writing, then you need not write very decorative lines, you automatically create lines which appeal the reader. So use them as much as possible in your lines and see the difference that you make. You may not be a poet, but you can be one by using figures of speech. Thank you. See you next Thursday.